Welcome back to another tutorial. This is not a cufflink sleeve. This is just a simple sleeve design that I will be taking you through the process of making. You're going to actually love this, and I do hope that you're going to try it. You see what the sleeve looks like on my hand? You can see it looks more like a corporate sleeve, but there's no stress on this one. It's very simple. I can put button on the edge if I want, and I can just leave it straight like that. You see how it looks in my hand? This is an I love this personally, so I hope that you try this. So I'll be taking you through the process of making this step by step. So all you have to do for me is just to give the video a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe if you're yet to subscribe. This is just a straight sleeve, straight. I just do an attach inside and I do a turn up for the sleeve edge. So right here, I already cut out my sleeve. As you can see, I already cut out with the sleeve, and I made a mistake, but I'm going to explain this. If you're cutting your sleeve, you're supposed to cut an extension for the folding allowance, but here I just cut another fabric to do the folding allowance. So cut your sleeve. If your sleeve is like 24 inches and you want to fold in 2 inches, so you're cutting 26 inches and you just fold the extra at the hem, just like so. You see that? Just fold the extra at the hem. So here is where I need you to pay attention. You know, on the cufflink sleeve, right, there's a cut that we usually put our placket. That's exactly where we are going to create an opening for our sleeve. So pay attention. Now the first thing now is to mark out your sewing allowance. So my arm, my wrist circumference, first and foremost, is going to be a total of 11 inches. So 11 divided by 2, that will give me 5.5. So I already mark that's my sewing allowance. So this entire place is where my cuff is going to be. So now, this 5.5 that we have here, if assuming you are doing a cufflink sleeve, you are going to divide that by 2. And that's where it's going to be, where we are going to cut to insert our sleeve placket, right? So if that's the case, that's also where our sleeve is going to be here, but we are not cutting anything. So I'm just going to mark that particular point, right? I'm just going to mark that particular point. And once I have that, you see, I'm also going to mark that particular point on the second side of the sleeve as well, which is here. Mark it on both sides. So that's where our sleeve, that's where our the design on our sleeve is going to like start from and stop at as well. So it's going to look like cuff, right? So once we mark that, the next thing now is going to be to cut out our interfacing that we're going to be using. This is actually a very simple design, so just pay attention and try it on your own. There are so many other methods in which you can use to get the same result, but this is my first trial. I'm still a novice. This is my first trial. And this is the best method that I feel like it works for me. So yeah, I already cut out my interfacing, you see. So right here on my interfacing, I have a fabric that I'll be using, a white fabric have you seen in the initial video. So my sleeve circumference is 11 inches. So now the total length of this cuff that I cut here is a total of 10 inches. So we are going to have 1 inch in the middle. And the wideness that I have here is a total of 2.5 inches. So once you already cut out your interfacing, just like so, the next thing is to gum it to your fabric. So here I'm using white. Have you seen initially? I'm using white. So just place it on. So once I place this on top of the fabric, I'm just going to like leave allowance that we're going to fold backward, just like so. You see that? Let me zoom the camera so this place is going to be clear. I don't know what's wrong with my lights. My generator is doing somehow. Let me fix that. So just place this right here. So once you place it on the fabric, as you can see right here, once you place it on the fabric, I'm going to add, you know, here I have 2.5 inches in total. I'm going to extend the 2.5 to like 4 inches up front, so I can turn it over the interfacing, just like this. You can see, just like this. So that's one sleeve, and I'm going to do the same thing on this one as well. Just place it. I'm just going to simply cut it out as well. You can see that. So once I have that, the next thing is to simply take it to the ironing table, and I'm going to gum the interfacing to the fabric. I'm going to gum the interfacing to the fabric, then I'm going to stitch it. So you can see what I have here. I already gummed the interfacing to the fabric. So once I gum it to the fabric, I'm going to turn it over the interfacing. You can see here, I'm going to go and stitch it. I'll stitch it round, then I'm going to turn it inside out. It's as simple as that. You see that? So I already stitched it here, so I'm just going to trim the edges so I can have a curved edge. You see? It's actually simple. It's actually very simple. This will take you like 3 minutes, 2 minutes to 3 minutes. If you intend to do this kind of a sleeve on your outfit, it will take you a very short period of time. You get? But if you to do a normal placket, right, a normal cufflinks, right, you have to build the plackets left and right. You have to cut it. You have to put a light interfacing before you do all of this thing. So there should be a very easy way to actually get things done, right? That is the magic of prop sleeve. That's what you're having here. So I'm just going to trim out this edge. Once I trim this part out, I'm going to simply turn it inside, just like so. See that? Just going to turn it inside. After turning it inside, I will take my time to iron it and make sure it is balanced. I'll iron it down, make sure it's balanced before we stitch it to our sleeve. You see what I have here? I'll do the same thing on this one as well. So this is the two. You can see I leave an allowance for sewing. Don't forget that I leave an allowance for sewing. You can see right here, there's an allowance for sewing, which is half of an inch that I'm going to be joining to the sleeve. Half of an inch. So firstly, on the sleeve itself, I'm going to simply have to stitch it first. I will stitch the sleeve first before I do my insertion. So I'm going to take this to the sewing machine now and just run a stitch on the edge. Just from our sewing allowance, I'm going to sew it like around the arm area. Then after that, I'm going to lock it together, just like so. See that? So after stitching it, you see I already sewed that part, and I iron it, I open it up. You don't have to have this much allowance on your wrist, right? So it should be like minimum of half of an inch if you have an accurate wrist. So you can just cut that off. But because I'm doing a tutorial here, I'll take my time to show you. So this mark that we mark, this is where our placket is supposed to be. Initially, it was me you're doing like a normal placket. So in between here, that's where we're going to split our 1 inch. Remember, our sleeve is 11 inches, right? Our sleeve is 11 inches, and the placket we cut is 10 inches. So that 10 inches, in between that first chalk, we are going to leave half of an inch on both sides. Half of an inch on both sides. So after that, the next thing is to simply insert the sleeve inside, like insert the cuff inside of the sleeve. So what we're stitching is the ½ inch extra of the fabric. That ½ inch, that's what we're stitching to the fabric. So I'll take this to the sewing machine now and I will show you how that is done. So just right from here, you can see what I'm doing. This is exactly what we want to do. You can see my hand. We have to turn this to the front part of the fabric, right? This is exactly what we want to do. So from the beginning of that chalk, which is the first ½ of an inch, you're going to take this to the sewing machine, and I'm going to place this on top of from the inside, not like this, just like this. From the inside, I'll place this right here. You can see that from the inside, and I'm going to run a stitch of ½ of an inch. So I'm going to still have ½ of an inch to overlap the fabric. So just like so, you can see from here, just like so. I will take you to the sewing machine now, and then I can show you from that second chalk. So I'm going to be sewing it from inside. You see, just place it like this. Take this to the sewing machine and run a stitch all the way around to the other side. You can see what I'm doing. Just place it like so. Then I'm going to run a stitch from the inside all the way, just like this. You can see that. So make sure you leave the half of an inch to be able to turn up easily to the front part. So I'm just going to run the stitch all the way round. So let me go ahead and do that. So I'm going to do the same thing on the second sleeve as well. So this is what it's going to look like after the stitch. My thread was having some issues, so I just like cut it out. Perfection is an illusion. We all make mistakes. That's why I'm showing you what it looks like and what my stitch looks like here. So all you have to do after stitching is just to simply turn it to the front. See what I have? Mad. I love this. I actually like this though. I like this. Nice. So see what I have? I'm just going to take this to the ironing table, give it a thorough ironing, make sure it's relaxed and it's smooth. You see what it looks like in my hand? You see that? So I'm just going to simply stitch it to my... So this also has a left and right sleeve because of the marking that we make. This we have a left and a right side of your outfit. So this is what we have total. So if you like the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're yet to subscribe to the channel. If you want to join my intensive class, you can click the link below at www.thugfashionacademy.com.ng and I'll see you.